As January deepens, the United Kingdom finds itself bracing for one of the most significant winter threats in recent memory. Across the country, communities are waking up to a landscape transformed by ice and snow, with temperatures plunging well below average for this time of year. The chill in the air is unmistakable, and the sense of anticipation is growing as the nation prepares for what could be a prolonged and challenging cold spell. The Met Office has issued a series of urgent warnings, alerting the public to the dangers of severe cold, widespread ice, and heavy snowfall expected to sweep across much of the UK. These warnings are not just for remote areas, but extend to towns and cities where daily life could be severely disrupted. Authorities are emphasizing the importance of staying informed and taking precautions as the situation develops. Meteorologists are closely monitoring a dramatic atmospheric battle unfolding above the UK. On one side, relatively mild and moist air is pushing in from the Atlantic, while on the other, a powerful surge of frigid Siberian air is sweeping westward from the continent. Where these two air masses collide, forecasters expect intense weather, with the potential for blizzards, freezing rain, and dangerously low wind chills. This so-called battleground scenario could result in the most disruptive and persistent winter spell the UK has seen in years. From the snow-laden Scottish Highlands to the usually milder southern coasts, nearly every region is at risk of significant snowfall and icy conditions. The impact could be widespread, affecting both rural communities and densely populated urban centers. Unlike a typical winter storm that passes quickly, this weather pattern may lock the UK into a deep freeze for several days, if not longer. Sub-zero temperatures are expected to persist, creating hazardous conditions on roads and pavements, and raising serious concerns about travel safety, public health, and the resilience of infrastructure. Emergency services are already preparing for an uptick in incidents related to the cold. Major cities such as London, Birmingham, and Manchester are directly in the path of the heaviest snowfall, with forecasts suggesting that even areas unaccustomed to severe winter weather could see significant accumulations. This means that schools, businesses, and public transport systems may all face major disruption, and residents are being advised to plan ahead for possible closures and delays. The sheer scale of this winter event could have far-reaching consequences for the UK's transport networks and supply chains. Trains and buses may be delayed or cancelled, motorways could become impassable, and deliveries of essential goods might be interrupted. Supermarkets and shops are already seeing increased demand as people stock up on food and supplies in anticipation of being snowed in. With the nation on high alert, officials are urging everyone to heed weather warnings, check on vulnerable neighbors, and make preparations for a potentially challenging period ahead. Staying informed, staying safe, and working together as communities will be key as the UK faces this formidable test of winter's power. The Beast from the East is a dramatic nickname given to a particular type of severe winter weather event that can grip the UK and much of Europe. But what exactly does it mean, and why does it have such a fearsome reputation? The term refers to a specific weather pattern that brings exceptionally cold, snowy, and disruptive conditions, often catching people off guard with its intensity. It all starts far to the east, in the vast, frozen expanses of Siberia. Here, frigid, dry air masses build up during the winter months, creating some of the coldest conditions on Earth. When the right atmospheric setup occurs, this icy air is pulled westward across Europe, making its way toward the UK. The key player in this process is a powerful high-pressure system that settles over Scandinavia. This system acts like a giant atmospheric wall, redirecting the usual flow of milder, wetter air from the Atlantic, and instead steering the bitterly cold Siberian air across the continent. With the Atlantic influence blocked, the UK is left exposed to relentless polar continental air. This air is not only cold, but also very dry at first, which is why the initial arrival can feel sharp and biting. However, as this cold air mass travels over the relatively warmer waters of the North Sea, it picks up moisture. This transformation is crucial because it turns the dry, icy air into a snowmaking powerhouse, capable of producing heavy and persistent snowfall. The first places to feel the impact are usually eastern Scotland and the east of England, where snow begins to fall and quickly accumulates. But the story doesn't end there. Strong easterly winds can drive this snow far inland, creating deep powdery drifts and making travel hazardous across large parts of the country. It's important to note that not every spell of cold easterly weather is called a beast from the east. The term is reserved for the most severe and prolonged events, those that bring widespread disruptive snow, intense cold, and last for days or even weeks. Meteorologists and weather forecasters keep a close eye on the conditions that can trigger a beast from the east. When the right combination of high pressure, cold air, and moisture is detected, they issue warnings and use the term to alert the public to the seriousness of the situation. The beast from the east serves as a stark warning. This is not just another chilly spell, but a potentially dangerous event that can disrupt daily life, close schools, and even threaten safety if people are unprepared. So, when you hear the phrase beast from the east, it's time to take notice, stay informed, and prepare for a major winter event that could impact communities across the UK. The Met Office is closely monitoring a significant cold spell expected to grip the UK, with the most critical period likely to begin around January 20th. This cold snap could persist well into February, bringing with it a range of challenging weather conditions that will affect much of the country. Forecasters are warning that this could be one of the most impactful cold spells in recent years, with the potential to disrupt daily life for millions. Early in the week, conditions will be mixed, with some areas experiencing overcast skies, patchy snow, and periods of rain or sleet. The weather will be highly variable, with some regions seeing brief milder spells before the cold intensifies. Commuters and travelers should be prepared for rapidly changing conditions, as roads may become slippery and visibility could be reduced at times. As the week progresses, a notable shift is expected. Much colder air is likely to sweep in from the east, driven by a strengthening area of high pressure. This change will bring a sharp drop in temperatures, and the wind chill will make it feel even colder than the thermometer suggests. The arrival of this cold air mass will mark the beginning of a more severe phase of winter weather. Daytime temperatures may struggle to rise above freezing in many places, with some areas remaining below zero even during the afternoon. People will need to dress warmly and take extra care when venturing outdoors, as the risk of frostbite and hypothermia increases in these conditions. At night, temperatures are expected to plummet even further, with rural areas potentially seeing lows of -7 or colder. These bitterly cold nights will lead to widespread frost, making mornings particularly hazardous for drivers and pedestrians alike. Severe frosts and hard ice will create treacherous conditions, especially on untreated roads and railways. Black ice may form, increasing the risk of accidents, and public transport could face delays or cancellations as a result. The real risk comes from the collision of this cold air with incoming Atlantic moisture. When these two air masses meet, the stage is set for heavy, widespread snow. Forecasters are warning that some areas could see significant accumulations, with blizzard-like conditions possible in exposed locations. The exact location of this battleground will determine which regions see the heaviest snow, potentially affecting both northern and southern cities. Urban areas could be hit just as hard as rural communities, making travel and daily routines difficult for many. This could be a prolonged event, with persistent cold and snow putting sustained pressure on transport, health services, and energy supplies. Emergency services and utility workers are already preparing for the increased demand and potential disruptions that such severe weather can bring. A week or more of severe weather is possible, so preparation is key. Stocking up on essential supplies, ensuring vehicles are winter-ready, and checking on vulnerable neighbors are all important steps to take ahead of the cold snap. The public is advised to get ready for a long-lasting and challenging period. Staying informed with the latest forecasts, heeding official advice, and taking sensible precautions will help everyone stay safe and resilient during this extended spell of wintry weather. Snowfall will vary by region, but Scotland is set for the heaviest and most persistent snow, with some areas possibly seeing up to 60 centimeters. Major English cities like Manchester and Birmingham could face their worst snow in a decade, with up to 25 centimeters possible. London and the southeast are also at risk. Even a few centimeters can paralyze the capital's transport. The exact snow-rain boundary is uncertain and could shift by 50 miles, so everyone should stay alert for updates. The Met Office stresses the importance of monitoring forecasts as the event unfolds. Severe snow and cold will disrupt daily life across the UK, with travel hit hardest. Roads may become impassable, motorways gridlocked, and rural areas cut off. public transport could be suspended or delayed. Heavy snow and wind threaten power lines, risking outages and straining the energy grid as heating demand soars. Schools may close, businesses could shut or move to remote work, and access to healthcare may be limited. The cold poses health risks, especially for the elderly, children, and those with medical conditions. Slips and falls on ice will increase, putting pressure on hospitals. Authorities urge everyone to check on vulnerable neighbors and ensure they have essentials. Preparation and community support are vital during this period. This cold spell follows a turbulent start to 2026, marked by Storm Goretti's rare red warning for life-threatening winds in the southwest. Goretti brought winds up to 100 mph, causing damage, power cuts, and coastal flooding, with impacts felt nationwide. The storm was part of a sequence. Arctic blasts, rapid thaws, and heavy rain have left the ground saturated and vulnerable. This freeze-thaw storm cycle increases the risk of flooding and complicates the response to new snow and ice. The memory of Goretti highlights the UK's capacity for multi-hazard weather and the need to take warnings seriously. The upcoming beast from the east could combine extreme cold, heavy snow, and strong winds. Recent events are a stark reminder to stay alert and prepared. Many are comparing this event to the beast from the east of 2018, which brought deep snow and national disruption. What sets 2026 apart is the context. Recent winters have been milder, making a cold month like this a statistical anomaly. Climate change means fewer cold snaps, but when they come, they can be more extreme and unpredictable. Older generations recall the legendary winter of 1962-63, but while this isn't expected to reach those levels, it's a reminder of the UK's capacity for severe winter weather. Modern infrastructure faces new challenges from prolonged cold and snow. The relentless pattern, cold snap, storm, and now another major freeze, has made this winter especially exhausting. The cumulative impact strains both infrastructure and public well-being. This winter will be remembered for its sustained, varied challenges. With severe weather looming, preparation is crucial. Ensure your heating works, insulate pipes, and know how to turn off your water supply in case of burst pipes. Stock up on essentials, torches, batteries, non-perishable food, and bottled water. Dress in layers, wear hats and gloves, and use footwear with good grip to prevent slips. Avoid non-essential travel. If you must drive, prepare your car with winter supplies and check tires and fluids. Check on vulnerable neighbors and relatives, ensuring they have warmth, food, and medication. Be ready for school closures and work disruptions. Discuss contingency plans with employers. Make sure you have enough prescription medication for at least a week. Thinking ahead will help you and your community weather the storm safely. Forecasting UK snow is complex. Small changes in temperature or air patterns can shift outcomes dramatically. The battleground between cold and mild air means the heaviest snow could move by dozens of miles with little notice. Stay informed with regular updates from the Met Office and trusted news sources, not social media rumors. The situation will evolve, so check forecasts frequently as the event approaches. The beast from the east could bring the country to a standstill, but preparation and vigilance are your best defense. Take warnings seriously, but remember the forecast can change. Stay safe, stay warm, and keep checking for the latest information.